I want to quickly talk to you about the top 5 bank business loans that pull personal TransUnion for giant amounts and quick approval. Don't you go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome 30 Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about 5 bank business loans that pull personal TransUnion for giant amounts and quick approval. Number 5, we have Marcus by Goldman. Our score is 7.6 over 10. So when we talk about Marcus by Goldman, they don't have a proper business loan. They have a business line of credit, okay? And the cool thing is that, and they actually just started getting to this space, okay? And before they were just offering personal loans. Now they're trying to do business loan and business line of credit. Right now they're just doing business line of credit. What we love about this business line of credit is that they're very flexible. They're very flexible. They'll work with you no matter the size, no matter your company's size or how long you have been in business, okay? And the cool thing here is that you can also apply online if you want to. So when you think about Marcus by Goldman, you want to think about speed. You want to think about customer service. They were very good in terms of customer service, and they want you to actually. Their requirements are pretty. I think they are not as strict as others. Okay, so. For the business line of credit from Marcus by Goldman, they want you to have annual revenue of $25,000. That's the minimum. Okay. Time in business, ideally 3 to 6 months. That's the minimum. Okay. There is no collateral needed to secure your line of credit. So that's kind of cool. And they want you to have a personal FICO score of 600. Okay, so the requirements are pretty decent. Now, one thing we love here is that they actually can fund you pretty fast. The only problem is that you have to actually, so once they accept you, you have to set up the accounts. They might charge you some fees. In other words, you might have some admin fees, some line of credit setup fees, depending on the state you're applying from. But Marcus by Goldman, they actually cover the whole United States, so they are present. They can. It doesn't matter what state you're applying from. You can still qualify for a business line of credit from Marcus by Goldman. In terms of the maximum amount and the minimum amount, they have not published that. But based on our research, they will actually give you a maximum business line of credit of $500,000. $500,000, that's the maximum business line of credit they might grant you, depending on the depending on the strength of your financials. Number 4, folks, we have here Fifth Third. Our score 8.4 over 10. So when you think about Fifth Third, I want you to think about a few pros and a lot of pros and a few cons. Okay, so what are the pros? You have several types of business loans that are available. They have a fee waiver on checking with an active business loan. You have some loan products fund fairly quickly. I'm talking about one week or 1 day. Okay, you can have same day funding if you have the right relationship with Fifth Third Bank. Okay, the cons: you must visit a Fifth Third Bank branch or schedule a phone appointment to apply. Okay, and limited information available online. So that's the thing. I mean, we love that anyway, because we don't love by default. We don't like business loan applications online. So in this case, they want you to go to a branch or apply over the phone. That's pretty good. You know why? Because you have all the chance to ask all questions that you have before applying. So this is really good. So Fifth Third Bank is great for borrowers who want a variety of financing options. Okay, so they offer several different types of business lending. So this is really convenient if you are not sure about what kind of funding program you want. If you want a one-stop shop experience, Fifth Third Bank is kind of cool for you too. Okay, and if you don't need cash fast, in other words, if you just want to have a business line of credit, it's fine. So in terms of the constellation of products they offer term loans, they offer secured and unsecured lines of credit, commercial real estate loans, SBA financing, equipment financing, and whatnot. So they have a large constellation of of loans. Okay, so when we talk about the business loan, it really depends, but you can have loans that go all the way to $500,000. $500,000 is the maximum, not a problem. Okay, with no collateral, of course, no collateral. Okay, and now for the SBA loans, you can have loans that go all the way to $5 million. Okay, for 504 loans, you go loans that go all the way to 10 million. So it's totally great. And so when you think about Fifth Third Bank, I want you to think about also great customer service. Okay, they will work with you. Sometimes they are really slow depending on their backlog, but usually they'll work with you. And we love the fact that they ask you to apply. You need a basic list of documentation. So they want a statement of personal history, your personal financial statements, 3 years of personal income tax returns, 3 years of business tax returns, business certificate or license, business leases. Okay, they might also ask for your name, date of birth, residential address, your social, your country of citizenship and country of residence, the percentage of ownership, the personal income, and the residential status. In other words, whether you rent or own. Number 3, folks, we have here Regions. Our score 8.8 over 10. So when you think about Regions, I want you to think about a bank that is very generous in terms of the loan amounts that they offer. Okay, they actually have loan amounts that go all the way to 6 million, and with loan terms up to 120 months. Of course, to get this, you got to have the right relationship. Okay, you got to have the right relationship with Regions. And the cool thing about Regions is that Region Banks offers access to small business loans in all the 50 states in the union. So that's not a problem. Even though they're based in Huntsville, Alabama, they cover the whole United States, and we love that. Okay. And one thing I want to say here is that you need to have a relationship with them, though. Very important. And preferably, you want to apply for things at the branch. Okay. And you want to make sure that you actually apply. You need to do a lot of explanation when it comes to the use of loan proceeds. Okay. So they want to consider business loan applications for business purposes, such as inventory, okay, such as expansion, okay, such as payroll, okay, such as operational efficiency. Whatever you're doing operationally, you can have equipment financing. So you can use actually the business loan from Regions for a large constellation of things. Okay, and one thing we need to understand here is that if you want to qualify for a Regions Bank business loan, by the way, the business loan, it goes to 6 million, but you have to have perfect credit to qualify for that. Okay, but they want you to be in business. I mean, you need to have annual revenue of 100,000. That's number one, and they want you to be in business for 1 year. Even if you are in business for 6 months, they might approve you if you have the right relationship with Regions. Okay, for FICO score, they want you actually minimum FICO score 580. So that's not a problem. Okay, and they actually to be at least 18 years of age. Okay, and so one thing you need to understand is that you have to also be able to, I think I've said this before, but I'm going to emphasize it. You need to also rationalize the loan, the business loan. You need to explain to them what you're going to use the money for, and what you're going to use the money for should be in sync with your business's expenses. In other words, don't you try to get the cash for I don't know, irrelevant purposes. And they want to see that the loan they're granting to you will help you generate more revenue, so you can actually be in a better position to pay them back. Number 2, we have here Truist. Our score 9.2 over 10. So by the way, Truist, for those of you who don't know this, Truist is a byproduct, is a merger of SunTrust and BB&T. Okay, and basically, so one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about the bank business loans that pull personal TransUnion, Truist is one of them. And so they have term loans up to $100,000, terms up to 60 months. Okay, and so that's kind of cool. I mean, and they also have a large constellation of loans besides term loans. They have auto small business loans up to $250,000 for auto small business loans. They have commercial vehicle and equipment loan up to $250,000. Okay, the terms respectively here are 75 months and 84 months. They have real estate loans, so those are the commercial real estate loans, the CRE loan, so up to $250,000, and the terms up to 180 months. Okay, the line of credit up to $100,000 without collateral, up to $250,000 with collateral, and the terms you have 12 to 36 months without collateral and up to 60 months with collateral. And for the SBA loans, for the SBA backed loan, you have here up to $5,000 with SBA 7 loans, in excess of $5 million with SBA 504 loans, and up to 300 months. Okay, that's for the terms. In terms of the APR, when we talk about, no, first of all, let's talk about the terms. The term loans maximum 60 months. Okay, with payments on your term loan due monthly. Okay, you can borrow up to $250,000, but if you're borrowing $50,000 or more, Truist will need to verify your business assets. And if you need to borrow more than $100,000, you need to secure your loan with collateral. Okay, so should collateral be required to help you qualify, you'll need to apply through Truist branch network. This is very important. And so that's one thing you need to know. And one thing I want to say here is that, so you have a large constellation of loans. Okay, and so the question is, are you eligible? Well, if you are eligible, you need to have you can apply online, but we say this to you want to do things at the branch. So so they're pretty flexible in terms of requirements. They want you to be in business for at least 6 months. Okay, in some cases they'll work with you if you have a revenue of at least $1 million, sometimes even less, sometimes even more. It depends on your geography. Somebody who is located in Hawaii, for instance, is not going to have the same requirements as a business located in New York. Okay, so they actually work with you, and they actually will find whatever works for you. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm still talking to you today about the 5 bank business loans that pull personal TransUnion for giant amounts and quick approval. And number 1, the best in our view, US Bank. Our score 9.5 over 10. So here are the pros. So this business loan is suited for small to large businesses. You have low interest rates. You have few additional fees. Okay. The cons: they have a strict borrower qualification. They have a fair public reputation, and they operate only in 25 states. That's one thing we have said on this and other shows. The geo restriction can be a problem when it comes to US Bank. But hey, listen, if you are in the geography that they cover, good for you. Go ahead and do it. Okay. The bank is headquartered in Minneapolis, but they cover only 25 states. Okay. Over 3,000 branches. Okay. And so what are the products they offer? They have business term loans. They have lines of credits. They have SBA loans. They also do commercial lending. Okay. They have healthcare practice loans. And in terms of their borrower qualifications, time in business 2 years. The credit score is not known, and the revenue varies by product. Okay. So when we talk about here, so they have a secure business loans up to $1 million, term length up to 80 months. Okay. Origination fee $75,000. They have lines of credit. Here we have up to $250,000 for the cash flow manager, up to $500,000 for business equity, for up to $2 million for business. Okay. And the terms here up to 5 years in terms of the business equity. In terms of the SBA loans they have, it really depends. They can go all the way to $7 million or 11.25 million. Okay. So the application process is pretty simple. You can apply online, or you can apply over the phone or at a branch. They will rather have you actually apply at a branch. Okay. And so US Bank currently operates in 25 states, primarily on the West Coast. Okay. In the mountain states and in the upper Midwest. Okay. So we're talking about Washington, State of Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, and Florida. So this is just important to know. I want to say here, let's just have a quick overview before we actually close to this conversation. So it's important if you want to get a bank business loan that pull personal TransUnion, it's important to actually determine what type of business loan you need, right, to fund your business. So you gotta be very clear. Are you looking for a loan for equipment, to buy inventory, to take care of payroll, to actually smooth out the occasional bumps that you have in your liquidity? What kind of loan are you looking for, and what is the purpose? Okay, going back to what I said about the use of loan proceeds, very important, because maybe you just need a business credit card. You don't need a business loan. You just need a business credit card or a business line of credit. So what kind of loan are you looking for? And you need to determine if you qualify for the loan, right? So once you identify the loan itself, see if you qualify in terms of your FICO score, in terms of your length of operational history, how long you have been in business. Okay, do you make enough money in terms of repaying the debts? So those are what we call revenue requirements. You need to determine what payments you can afford. Also, it's all about making sure you live within your means, making sure that your business lives within its means, right? Decide whether and how you want to collateralize the loan. You want to compare small business lenders. Okay, so it's important, because if you lack collateral, if you lack time in business, and you need funding quickly, you might have to resort to online lenders and alternative lenders, right? But it's important to compare those lenders properly, okay? Because at the end of the day, you can get business loans from banks or credit unions or alternative lenders or online lenders. Basically, the sky's the limit, okay? And make sure that you apply for a loan. So after you've done all that, apply for the loan so you can actually reap the benefits here. And when we talk about applying for a loan, there are a few criteria and a few pieces of paperwork you need to have handy to make sure that the application process goes smoothly. Very important. So when we talk about business loans, whether you apply at a branch or let's say at the credit union or at an online lender, they'll ask for your business's name and address. They'll ask for your business tax ID number. This is actually your EIN, your employer identification number. Okay, you get this number from the IRS. They'll ask you for a business plan. Very important. Okay, they'll ask you for your business loan proposal. Okay, so in other words, this is where you articulate the use of loan proceeds, why you need the cash in the first place. Okay, and they might ask you for your business financial statements. I'm speaking about your balance sheet, your statement of cash flow, your income statement, and your owner's equity statement. And they might also ask you for personal details about your company's owners. Let me give you a few pro tips that will help you. As we are talking today about bank business loans that pull personal TransUnion, you really want to make sure your TransUnion score is accurate. This is important. Okay, so you got to check your credit score and report. You can do so through annualcreditreport.com once a year or whenever you are denied credit. Okay, or you can actually sign up for a free TransUnion credit report from Credit Karma, from NerdWallet, from Wallet Hub, from your personal your bank or your credit union. For example, if you have Navy Fed, they pull TransUnion and they actually give you a FICO score about your TransUnion report. So this is kind of cool, because the bottom line is you want to see what lenders see on your credit report, right? Because they see your personal information. They have details of your past and current credit accounts. You want to see that. You want to have an idea. You want to have a clear idea about what your lenders are seeing, and your credit card issuers for that matter. So the thing here is that when you look at your TransUnion credit score, it's just the same thing as your Experian credit score and your Equifax credit score. Basically, it has 35% accounts for your payment history. In other words, your payment history accounts for 35%. The amount that you owe accounts for 30%. Here we are speaking about credit utilization ratio, among other things, okay? Your length of credit history accounts for 15%, okay? How many types of credit you have in use. So that's what we call the credit mix, or the diversity of credit, that accounts for 10%. And then you have the account inquiries, 10%. One thing I want to say here is that as you are actually checking your TransUnion score for accuracy, please make sure that you focus on the first two, your payment history and the amount that you owe, because those two criteria, when you really think about it, if you add them up, they account for 65%. This nearly 2/3 of your TransUnion or your FICO score in general. Okay, so you want to be very careful. You want to be in a position where you are constantly making payments. You are making sure that you are limiting the amount of credit inquiries, the amount of hard pulls, the amount of you really have to make sure that you boost your credit profile in general on TransUnion, but also with other credit bureaus such as Equifax and Experian. Before we close today's conversation, please check out our loan evaluation approach. We have a strict methodology on this show when it comes to checking, evaluating, and categorizing loans. Check this out. All right, let's just quickly wrap up here. So 5 bank business loans that pull personal TransUnion for giant amounts and quick approval. So we have US Bank 9.5 over 10. We have here number 2, we have Truist 9.2 over 10. Number 3, we have Regions 8.8 over 10. Number 4, we have Fifth Third 8.4 over 10. And number 5, last but not the least, we have here Marcus by Goldman 7.6 over 10. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.